Greg, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. So, how this story began, on Thursday we were told that Caster would not be allowed to participate in the Diamond League event, and then we got news that she would now be allowed to go but could not travel. What exactly is the truth at this point?
Well, the facts are, and good afternoon to you and to your viewers. Absolutely. The facts are that she was invited on the 7th of June, to which she accepted. And then in and around about the 11th of June, we got notification, or her agent got notification, that she couldn't participate. We, of course, were up in arms about that, made inquiries, and certainly there were certainly stringent inquiries in regard to her participation. Then that invitation was reinstated, but by that time, as you can well appreciate, the logistics of having to cancel and rebook to get back to run were just highly impossible. And so it was completely not in her favor to do so, and so Caster then didn't run. But the fact of the matter is that she was prepared to run and was told not to run, and then was reinvited once again once we had made our representations and our true feelings known that this was absolutely unacceptable way in which to treat a champion and an Olympic champion at that.
So to be clear then, Greg, it's not that she rejected or declined the invitation, it was just logistically impossible to do. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. At the end of the day, it was impossible to do so, and we couldn't just turn it around in a couple of days. But to have that first few days of where the invitation was withdrawn was completely and utterly unacceptable. But what was good news this week, on Monday, the Swiss Federal Court reaffirmed the order made on the 31st of May of the suspension of the regulations until the 25th of June, whereafter they will then make a decision regarding the suspension of the regulations. And then, of course, we will come up to the appeal. So on this last Monday, the Swiss Federal Court reaffirmed the court order that we had applied for on the 31st of May, in which they upheld the fact that the regulations were suspended. So that at least was very good news this last week on Monday.
Still with the legalities then, if there was this order clearing the way for Caster to participate in the Diamond League, what law were the Moroccans relying on in trying to bar her from participating today?
There was no law in terms of what they were relying on. It seemed an arbitrary decision, and that makes it even worse, quite frankly. So we didn't have any law in regard to work on. It was invite and then a revisit of the invitation. So it was completely random, capricious to my mind, and so on.
So legally then, what tools are at your disposal to avoid a repeat of this drama with the Moroccans?
I apologize, I just missed that.
My question to you was, what tools are available to you to avoid a repeat of this episode that's happened with Morocco?
We certainly don't anticipate a repeat of this. We've got the next run will be the 30th of June. We do not anticipate that happening. As I say, we've had the reorder of the suspension of the regulations reconfirmed on the 12th of June by the Swiss Federal Court, and we certainly do not anticipate a rerun of this past week.
And what's the timeline going forward ahead of the appeal then, the outcome at least, as based on the World Athletics Body's appeal of the suspension of its regulations?
Well, we've got the 25th of June coming up, which is a date in which the IAAF must have put forward the representations in regard to why the regulations shouldn't be suspended. Pending after that, after the 25th of June, we'll have the decision made by the Swiss Federal Court in regard to whether they are suspended. If they are suspended, Caster will be free to run until the appeal is heard, and the appeal will be heard sometime toward the end of this year. I haven't got a precise date as to when the appeal will be heard.
Okay, Greg Knott, Caster Semenya's lawyer, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Greg speaking to us live from Lisbon this Sunday.